All right, let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Edition of the Deeper Farmer Cigar Garage Talks. How's everyone doing tonight? I am doing very good. It was a really good week, and I'm excited to get back to the marriage series. If you guys don't know, I kind of put this on hold for a little bit while I did my EMS war stories and caught up on a few little personal videos here and there. But what are we smoking? What are we drinking tonight? We have the Dama. I'm going to murder this. Is it Dama Valadia. Dama Valadia. I've always called it the Black Dahlia cigar because that woman actually looks like the Black Dahlia image, but it's not. I've called it the wrong name many times. Pretty good cigar from the American Viking. Really enjoying their cigars. I enjoy their cigars, yeah. They make many. And tonight from Ordok, we have Brad's Best, an American Amber Ale. No real idea who Brad is or why this is his best. But, yeah, it's a new beer from Ordok. Used to drink there a lot back in the day. Not so much anymore. Usually when I go to Marquette, I don't have time, and it's sad. And their alcohol is usually, their beers in the store a little on the pricey side. That is nice color, actually. Good head on that. Oh, Brad. That's just on the, oh no, yep. No, it's not. Okay, it's not listed as it. That's on the edge of being an IPA. Come on, guys. That's the other problem. Ordok went deep into the IPA world. Like all their beers, their new beers started to become IPA. Which if you like an IPA, great. If you actually like beer, you don't like them. So, hey, this video is going to be full of unpopular opinions and getting people all riled up. So we might as well start early, right? I do truly believe IPA is not a real beer. But, to the topic tonight, the role of a woman. Like I said, this one's going to get some people kind of hot in the trousers, a little up in arms, raising the pitchforks and the torches, causing for calls for all sorts of horrible things, I'm sure. I don't care. Because I do truly believe that there are men's roles and there are women's roles. There's men's responsibilities and there's women's responsibilities in general, and then also when it comes to a marriage. And I believe the second that those start going cattywampus, those go sideways, or we start really diminishing the importance of them, all hell breaks loose in our culture. So, I do firmly believe that the man of the house, the husband, needs to be the provider. And they need to do everything in their power to make sure their wife can stay at home. If that's for whatever reason not possible, you just can't seem to swing the bills, I recommend you try harder. If that doesn't work, look towards the Dave Ramsey's programs, try to get out of debt, manage your budgets. And if that doesn't work, look into minimalist lifestyles and have a serious discussion about what is needs versus what is wants versus what are super wants, I sometimes call them, the stuff that we still want to fund even though we definitely could live without it. And if that still doesn't work, sure, I guess until you have kids, your wife can work a part-time job. Now, why do I say this? One is your household cannot go stagnant. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had this where you go away for a week or a weekend even, come back home, and there's just that stale air smell in your house. I used to do a lot of renovations of old homes and whatnot. You crack open those walls that haven't breathed in 100 years. It's got this interesting aroma. Old homes, our home we used to have in Ishpeming, if we left for even a few days, like a weekend trip, came home and you got that whiff of that stagnant, stale air, that unlived in smell. I firmly believe that that smell is toxic because that home isn't lived in, it's not cared for. By having both of the husband and wife out working, um, the home is being neglected. And I guarantee you the biggest argument you're going to have is how the home is neglected. You both come home exhausted from work, and no one wants to do the cleaning. No one wants to take out the trash or clean up after the dog or change the litter box. But if one of you can stay at home, and again, firmly believe that it is the woman's job to stay at home, it's the man's job to provide for the family. And I've talked about this. I've talked about how for many, 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 many years, we lived with what I call silk lifestyle. You know, single income, lots of kids. And, you know, there is something to be said for having one of you, again, preferably the wife, stay at home and care for the house. Make sure things are clean. Make sure that, the chores are done. Food is cooked, all that. Now, again, don't get all up in arms. I'm not against women in the workforce. That's not a thing, no. And I do know many successful families where it's the man who stays at home. Sure, it can work. It's more effort, it's more compromise, but it can work. What does work? Having the man go off to earn a living and the woman take care of the house. And again, though, that's not to say that that is minimizing the job of a homekeeper or a homemaker. Far from it. That is a full-time, intense job, lots of responsibilities. And if you are going to be the husband who is going to go out to work every day, you need to understand and respect that your wife's responsibilities at home are just as valid as yours bringing in the financial support. So yes, the old adage is true. Yes, husbands, you had a long day at work, but hopefully your wife had a long day at home. You both put in 8 hours of hard work. One maintains in the home while the other person maintains the finances. It's a beautiful thing. Both jobs are equally respectable, they're equally commendable, and they should have equal regard for each other. It is jobs that have to get done. Now, if you're both working 8 hours at some job, pushing buttons or making widgets or whatever, well, suddenly now there's another 8 hours of housework that has to get done. So you both are working 12-hour days. Well, that's more work for less reward. I will put my foot down and say, once you have kids, though, the woman definitely needs to be at home. And unfortunately, not the man. The husband should be the one who's a primary earner for the family, and the wife is the one who needs to be the one rearing and raising children. One, it's in a female's nature. They're just better at dealing with social, emotional issues, psychological issues, the affective care syndromes. Children have more of an affinity and attachment to their mother as far as being their care provider. I've met almost no child who will tell you, I want dad to come heal my boo-boo. Even me, who's heavily medically trained, can handle blood and guts and gore and knows advanced sterilization techniques, field sterilization, bandaging, wound care. The first instinct is for each of my kids to go to mom. And that's instinctual. You have a kid fall and get hurt in the middle of a bunch of strangers, they're going to run to the nearest female for care, love, and support. So why go against that? We always talk about how we are in a society where we need societal norms. We need to get back to the actual respect and understanding psyche. But yet we say, well, either the male or female can be the primary caregiver to a child. No, no, they can't. I wish they could. I wish that we were interchangeable. But dad is going to handle an issue different than mom. Dad is going to find a solution that mom's not going to like. There's nothing wrong with that. We both come at this situation differently. We both come to the problem with a different set of psychological abilities, emotional abilities, problem-solving techniques, and the ability to process information in a different fashion. So why try to treat us as interchangeable? I do firmly believe that it is the woman's job to care for the house. That's a job I deeply respect. I'm proud that my wife does a wonderful job doing it. And I absolutely love the fact that she is able to fill that role. And there's nothing wrong with that. Why is it that people believe that the woman needs to, women need to work and establish themselves in careers? You talk to most career-oriented women, they're not happy. With the state, I work with a ton of women who are all about, this is my career, this is my job, I'm building me. And they're the most depressed people I've ever met. They're the ones that are constantly seeking help and advice and how to better themselves. And they're looking for ways to reconnect themselves with their deeper being. Quit your job. Find a husband. Stop pretending that you're happy trying to chase up the state ladder. That you're chasing down this notion that you should be this high-powered earner. It's not surprising to me that stuff like trad wives are such a thing, and people are genuinely happy. Again, how many career-orientated women do you know who are genuinely happy? They'll tell you, oh yeah, I'm happy, I'm going up for this promotion. I beat out 3 guys to get it. Are they though? You read their social media posts and they're talking about how depressed they are and all the Xanax they're taking and how anxious they are and how, things just don't seem right in their life and they need more mental health time. And we saw this during COVID with men. Men who couldn't go to work had some of the highest suicidal rates and alcoholism and drug rates there ever was. Because we took away their nature, their being. Now, of course, I could break out some biblical passages. That stuff gets a little interesting, a little weird, needs a lot of interpretation before I start reading those off. But just talking about my experience, the happiest I've ever been is coming home and knowing I was able to provide everything for my family and my wife to live. There was a time, actually just at the start of COVID, where my wife was working part-time, and it was because she wanted to, not because we needed her to. The kids were all older, we weren't having more babies, and she wanted to. She wanted to work. So, okay, cool. Well, I got laid off from my job because of COVID, and I got a new job, but it didn't really pay that much. Wasn't great pay. There were gaps in our bills, and I started gutting our budget. But then homeschooling mama decided that she was going to take it upon herself to work more hours, or get a second part-time job, start working a ton more hours. And trust me, it filled the gap, but it killed me. Absolutely killed me that she had to do that. And anytime we have financial struggles, she talks about getting a second job. And the conversation is damning to my psyche. Now, don't get me wrong. She is an extremely educated woman, very capable, very smart. She is a genius, in my opinion, and I believe actually if we get her tested, she'd probably rank that way as well. She has her master's. She's going for her PhD, hopefully. If all goes well, this fall she'll be going for her PhD. And she's an amazing homemaker. She takes great care of my children. She educates them. She teaches them the Bible. So that's nothing to be upset about. But I've had my coworkers kind of give me the look of like, ugh, what do you mean your wife doesn't work? When I say, I want her at home. Oh, misogynistic bastard. Well, that's probably true, but she's happy. I'm happy. She feels fulfilled. So what's the big deal? Why should she have to chase, the corporate gig and try to build the ladder and build her portfolio, and when she's building her family, she's building my kids' future. So what, instead I'm supposed to pay someone to do that? That doesn't make sense. You hear horror stories coming out of public schools and private schools and daycares and hell, even nannies who are teaching and training our children what we believe is horrible. And I'm not saying Democratic views, Republican views. I'm just saying in general, you don't know who's teaching your kid or what they're teaching them. You can guess, maybe. You can demand to know, but guess what? The second you drop them off, you gave up all control what they're going to learn. And that horrifies me. I want to know what my kids are learning. Because I want to know if they're learning the truth or if they're learning some made up bullshit. To be honest with you. There's more I could probably go on this topic, but I'm really enjoying this cigar. I'm enjoying my beer, and I think we're at what? Oh, not 20 minutes yet. I suppose I could spout off for another 3 minutes or so, but I won't get this video too long. Yes, I do believe men and women have very defined roles. The man needs to be the protector and the provider. Men out there, if you can't fill one of those two roles, you need to start working on it. If you can't protect your wife, learn how to shoot. Learn self-defense. Learn tactical advantage. If you can't provide, get off your ass. Get off your ass, go get training, go better yourself so you can provide for your wife and your family. Women, you are to be the caretakers and homemakers. If you can't keep a home because you can't cook, you don't know how to cook, or you don't know how to clean, better learn. There's lots of YouTube videos out there. If you find yourself you're not as caring about your kids, learn to love them. Trust me, there's ways to do that. You can learn that skill. You can learn to fall back in love with the daughter who you guys knock heads. No, you don't. You need to try harder. Trust me, you can do it. I know that you can. It's in your DNA. It's in your genes. You can do it. How do I know? Because I've seen millennia of women do it. And trust me, daughters being hard-headed or just, are difficult is nothing new, hun. So you got this. I know you do. Wait, folks, I'm going to go enjoy my cigar, enjoy my beer. Click on some YouTube, fire up my wood stove a little bit because it's getting a little chilly in here. And be glad that, me and my wife do have the very customary roles, a provider and a caretaker. And we're happier because of it. Maybe you should try it. Who knows? Might be happier. If not, you can go back to your miserable life. Anyway, have fun. Stay safe out there. See you in the next one.